Okay, so everyone knows I'm Lena Marie, and we are Real Estate Reality. That's my new podcast, and I'm excited today to invite my very first guest, and we're going to talk about the really big question mark, which is what's going on with lending. So that's what we're talking about today. Ryan, thank you so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
for being here with me today.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks for having me. For everybody out there, my name is Ryan Diaz. I've been a lender here in the Central Valley for the last 10 years, and I think the big buzz is it's finally interest rates are finally cracking, and that's what everybody I think is sort of holding their hat on and rightfully so over the last
Yeah.
over 2 years as far as what rates have been doing, and so now we're finally starting to get see a great decrease in rates. Affordability is going, is getting better for buyers, and so it's things are starting to pick up. So we're excited, and I'm very excited to be here. So thanks for having me.
Well, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about Mortgage Warehouse and its affiliation, and
Yeah.
how long have you been doing this?
Okay, so Mortgage Warehouse is new. It's affiliated. Its parent company is Gold Standard Mortgage. That's what I think a lot of people in our industry know me from. We started Mortgage Warehouse. It's been about a year or so, maybe a little under a year, and so we work here out of the Century 21 office in Fresno, and been able to get to meet a lot of amazing people that have came in here like yourself, and work with some really great people that are been in the industry a long time, and so yeah, we've been helping out with buyers here in the Fresno area through this company, through this branch.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah.
good. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. What is going on with the current rates, trends, and future forecast?
Oh, yeah. I think
That's a three part question.
I feel like
guess.
I've said this story every day for the last like 3 weeks. So we've seen an amazing improvement in interest rates over the last 30 days. The biggest marketing aspect in our industry came out last Wednesday when the Fed actually lowered the interest rate by 50 basis points, which, fun fact, that's only happened 4 times in the history of the Federal Reserve that they've actually lowered it by 50 basis points. So it's when you put it into those that manner, like, this is a significant thing that's happened. The fact that rates have came down so much so fast, and so it's transitioned over into the interest rates on mortgages, and we are seeing people that are saving quite a bit of money today on houses that they're getting in a contract now versus when they got pre-qualified maybe like 60 days ago. So it's a great feeling.
How does this impact affordability? So before, right, the rates are high, so you can afford less house. Or...
Yes. It's exactly right. So if your payment is $200, $300 less today because the interest rates have been lowered, say 1%, that means you're either going to save the money for the same house per month, which most people like. That's what's sort of been keeping people on the fence, I should say. Or you can go and say, hey, now instead of that 3-bedroom, 2-bath, now maybe we can get into that 4-bedroom,
right,
2-bath, type of house that we were really wanting to grow into. So it's all over the place. It's just, at the end of the day, every single story or scenario puts buyers in a better position.
So what should those buyers do they've been ready and now they've been waiting and waiting and waiting? Should they go now, or should they wait for them to come down more?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've always been a big fan of, when you find the right house and it's the one for you and one for your family, like, get that house. Like, right. Those houses don't come across, and you show houses, those, you can look at 10, 20 homes and it's not the right one, and then when you got that right one, if you think, hey, the payment's $100 or $200 higher, that's been the case, I guess, over the last year. Now's definitely a great time to buy a home, because even though we all believe that interest rates are going to continue to drop. The flip side is that the normal buyer doesn't understand is all of these people that are entering back into the marketplace, it's going to eventually cause pricing to go up. So that same house that you might like today, and if you say, hey, you know what, we're at a 5.75% today. I'm going to wait till I get to the fours.
Right.
When we get to the fours, that same house will be, 6 to 10% higher, possibly.
Right. You're bidding each other up.
Yeah. So whatever you think you're saving on interest, you're paying in a higher price. So it's not a matter of, it's just mathematics. It's like when more buyers enter the marketplace, more competition, and there's not going to be more houses for sale, so it's going to drive prices higher.
Do you think that when the rates do start going down, do you think that'll help maybe the inventory problem? Because now maybe the sellers, because they've been sitting, they're like, we're not going to trade in our 4%, 4.5%. Do you think maybe they'd be more inclined to release and buy that next home they want to?
I mean, I think you're going to get that in certain aspects. But what I've seen with people who bought homes, especially like, let's just say in the 3 to 4% range, like anywhere in the threes, those homes were purchased at such a low amount compared to what those are worth today. They all cash flow very, very well when you look at that payment and what today's rental market is.
Sure.
So there's so many people saying, hey, we can make money and we can go buy another house and still keep this one and build a portfolio. So I'm seeing that a lot. You obviously have the home buyers who are interested in being landlords, and they're saying, let's take the $200,000 of equity and go put that down on our next home.
Sure.
So it is working both ways. So
that's good, because a lot of times it doesn't.
Yeah. No, that's the last, like I said, about 2 years. We've been in a tough market as far as us that have been in the real estate industry. So that the crazy part is out of all that being said, you can talk to anybody in this industry. I don't care how long they've been in this, 20 years. They say, oh, this is the worst it's been, even through 08. I've heard all of these stories. And the absolute crazy part is we still had appreciation last year. So we had people buy homes, and those same homes last year are worth 3 to 5% more. So let's just say a $400,000 home is at $420 today. And now they're able to refinance the house, save $250 a month, and lower their mortgage insurance, or in some cases. And it's a perfect plan. That was the plan when they bought it. It worked out great for them. But what my point is the appreciation. You bought a house and it's worth that much more money today. It's only going to, I don't know, double in a good year, in a downward market. So I'm really curious to see what those numbers look like a year from now.
Well, yeah, exactly. And everybody was buying so high during COVID. I was just really, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? Like when this all drops out. But I give property reviews to all my clients twice a year, because I feel like they should know, what their home is worth at all times. It's one of your, largest assets. But and I just keep waiting. But what, the values are it's just been better and better news. So I always like to deliver good news. Who likes to get bad news?
I'm telling you, it's making it's been a lot funner and easier to come to work in the last 30 days. And like every single phone call is like, you can joke, laugh, we're best friends.
It's a good day to be a lender now. And then, okay, so when's the next good news?
So, the next time the Fed meets, I believe it's November 7th. Okay. Right? Every week there's data reports that come out that really drive the marketplace. And I think the biggest misconception with buyers is they think, hey, we're waiting until November 7th because that's when rates are going to go down again. So I'm going to refinance then, or I'm going to refinance or buy this house, start making offers then. That's the biggest, myth, right? So all of those things are factored in to interest rates well before the event actually takes place. And that's with all of the different data that, the reports that come out that give the Fed the information that they need to make those decisions. So my point is rates will come down before that event takes place.
Right.
When we just had the 50 basis point reduction, ironically, like rates went up a little bit that day, and everybody's like, calling me, hey, what are rates at now? What are we doing now? And although it was a surprise to most that it was 50 instead of 25, our markets didn't really move, and they went the other way. And we made it up on Thursday and Friday, and we got back to even. But my point is there shouldn't be any time to wait, for a certain event to take place if you want to be a homeowner in today's marketplace or in the next year. I would say the most important thing, and this is going to sound totally like, oh, he's a lender, he's saying this. The most important thing is to get pre-qualified, because
prepare yourself.
Like if you say, hey, I want to buy something within the next year, double check where you're at on your credit score. And the best thing to do if there is something unforeseen that you need help with on a credit, time. Like if you can give me time, we can give you a plan to help fix it. So you get your credit score lined up, understand what your payments are going to be, so you really have some confidence when going in to shopping, making offers, and then more importantly, like what how much money am I going to need? How does that affect my payments? What loan programs are out there? Down payment assistance, whatever it may be. Educate yourself, and the more you can do that, the less scary of a process it is.
So do you have a team so if I brought you some individuals that maybe need a little bit of help, do you have a team to nurture those people and say, hey, look, it looks like your credit cards are at, 45%, if you bring those down under 30, and give them timelines, are you guys good at that nurturing?
Absolutely. And those type of buyers are actually the most rewarding when you can, when we get them to the finish line.
Yeah.
But, we were able to do a soft credit inquiry, so there's no negative effect. That's the number one thing people don't want, is they don't want their credit to be affected negatively. We don't want that either. So we do a soft pull. We have a program that we can give them a scenario. Hey, if you pay this credit card down, or you take that installment loan out, this is what it will do to your score. So we can give them a plan. And we also can get them in touch if they need additional help with somebody who can help them with that on a regular basis. And we always, our slogan when we started is, if you can dream it, we can finance it. I mean, it might not be tomorrow, but maybe it'll be in a year from now.
Right. It's
Everybody's
kind of like a team.
different.
It's a process.
That's right.
Yeah. So what do you say to the homeowners that they're going to stay, right? They're going to stay another 10, 15 years, and they now want to do a refi. Should they wait maybe till the next one? Like, how often can you refi your home? Like, if they refied it today, they wouldn't be able to refi it.
Great.
6 months?
Yeah, so that's right. So it's 6 months. That's a traditional waiting period, is a 6-month waiting period after you finish your refinance.
Okay.
Or a purchase, for that matter, too. So I would definitely say start now. Start looking at things now, right? It might not, every single person is, depending on where you left off when you purchase your house, it might not be the right time for everybody, but definitely get yourself familiar with the process. See where you're at as far as the savings.
Because there's fees and all those things too. It has to make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And every loan program, it's a little bit different. But you definitely, it's very simple how we break it down. This is how much it's going to cost you. This is how much you're going to save. And you do the math on that, and you're going to have a return in 12 months, 14 months, 16 months, whatever that may be. You know what I mean? So, and then you can make your decision on how much you're saving versus how much it's going to be costing you. And when I say costing you, 9 times out of 10, it's added to your loan amount, or it's about what if you don't want to add it to your loan about, we try to structure it to what your house payment would be. So if you were going to pay $3,000 a month on your house and you don't want to add anything to your loan, like I don't want to add anything to my loan, we'd say, okay, we're going to close this loan on this date, and instead of making, and we'd make it more towards the beginning of the month, instead of making your payment that month, just hold that money and come in for closing costs. Then we skip the next month, and there's a lot of, besides saving money every month, the thing that everybody loves is you get to skip. We can actually save you another month payment. So this time of year, you got Christmas coming around the corner. It's like, okay, hey, you don't have to make a December payment.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah. So
more presents for the kids.
That's right. So so there's a ton of ways to structure it, which makes it even that much more important. Of like, why don't we just check this out?
Yeah. Now, what about down payment assistance? I know we were seeing a lot of that this last few months. Is that still a thing, or do you feel like with the rates coming down, it's going to be less?
Well, I think down payment assistance is a great tool, right? It's not for everybody. I always, joke around with the people when I'm pre-qualifying them is the old saying, nothing good in life is free, right? There's always a catch to it.
It's not free money.
No, it's not free money. You're going to have to pay it back one way or the other. And it's either in higher closing costs, higher interest rate, or both. So there's usually something that comes with it. But it's a great tool. Like if you have no other options, it's an amazing opportunity. And and then when you can partner with a great realtor and everybody gets on the same page of understanding what the cash to close is going to be, and you can try to get some lender credit, it's great. But there's so many people that I've talked to that might not got that education, just sort of said, hey, it's down payment assistance. They have no idea what they're getting themselves into. Right. So because
people have to understand all the aspects about it.
It's
not free money, and I feel like a lot of times, especially first-time home buyers, it's just not explained to them. And then they go to close and they're like, wait, what is this? No one told me about this. And
so it's our job to explain the good and the bad. The pros and the cons. So those same people, though, it's been awesome. So these people that did the down payment assistance program within the last year, they're able to go and refinance all of the down payment assistance portion.
That's awesome.
Along with the first, all into one loan, saving more money per month. So it's if you did have a down payment assistance program that you utilize, I would definitely say
you guys are going to have an influx of refis, don't you think? Especially people that have purchased homes the last 6 months or
Yeah, we've been able to help quite a few people over the last month. And one thing that we didn't talk about is right now the United States has more equity in homes than they've ever had. Trillions and trillions of dollars. So one of the things is it's, and as a realtor, you know how hard it is sometimes if you have a contingent offer. Some people are utilizing home equity lines of credit, taking some of that equity out, buying that home, knowing that they're going to sell or lease the other one out down the road. So it's good. It's great stuff. So
well, good. Yeah. So tell everyone how they can find you, and so you have the office in Fresno and our Century 21 Jordan Link office.
So I'm here at Century 21 Jordan Link. We have a great team here. We have a few GSM offices throughout the valley. I think we got like 7 different locations. I was born and raised in Kingsburg, so that's where we started. So my day-to-day
life, your stomping ground?
My day-to-day life, work life is in King. We have an office there. So, with having offices throughout the valley, as well as we have one in Atascadero, Pismo area there. So, I'm pretty easy to be able to get a hold of, and I always enjoy like one-on-ones. I think that's becoming a lost art with the internet and send you my app and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like if I can talk to a buyer, like I feel like it's always I enjoy that still.
Well, because just like with real estate, it's an experience.
Yeah.
You know, and then you want to have that relationship so that they come back to you again.
That's
so,
right.
I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Building your business and keeping friendships, and so that everybody comes back and they refer their friends, and because you were such a wonderful guy.
That's what makes the industry we're in so enjoying. You know, getting to meet the people and, you know, sort of having that little connection and, you know, and it's not just like a number type of thing.
Well, too, and as being a realtor or listing agent, I mean, you know, we don't like to see, you know, loans.com and, you know, B of A and
yeah. No.
You know, so it's nice to have a nice local lender where you know that when they have that pre-approval,
right,
it's gold.
I'd be lying to you if I said 100% of my transactions were just perfect and everything, right? You always have those ones that are tough, but there's, you know, you get into like the foxhole together when you're local. Like, hey, let's come up with some solutions if you do have an issue, and it's that much more important because, you know, we live here, right?
Yeah.
We live in this area,
That's
so
right.
it's that much more important to us, not only for our buyers, but also for our agent partners.
That's right. So, folks, it is very important to have an amazing realtor partner as well as the lending partner. It goes hand in hand. It makes a successful transaction and making dreams come true. Well, thank you so much for visiting me today.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.